Alright, so that was Bitcoin. Let's move to Ethereum. Ethereum, what's going on right now is pretty obvious as far as the chart pattern is concerned. So let's dive right into that. There's very clearly a flag here. Some people call it a pennant. I'm going to call it a flag forever. That's just how I'm going to remember it. So essentially, two parts of the flag. The first part is the pole, P-O-L-E. The next part is the triangle, the flag portion. Now, ideally, these are always continuation chart patterns. So a bull flag is a bullish continuation, bear flag, bearish continuation. So you're already expecting this as it's forming to break up. As the triangle is getting ready to bust open, you're expecting this to break up. And yeah, I'm saying this now in its hindsight, but I'm just saying in general, in the future, it's always going to break up over not breaking up, okay? There are times when it doesn't break up, but this one's breaking up, so that's what this looks like right now. For the measured move up of the chart pattern, there's always a measured move. I like to go from the height, so basically the length of the pole, from the tip of the flag up. So that gives us somewhere around 0.075, a little higher than the 1618, which is the fib extension. So your resistance would be in this zone here, right here. So that's where I'm expecting the next move to happen. That's on chart patterns alone, okay? Next we move to Heikin-Ashi on the list here, Heikin-Ashi. You can see, as I explained in the previous video, we have 3 green candles. The opens are higher than the previous opens, closes higher than the previous closes. So that to me screams there's a bullish bias here. You can see there were 3 candles here and it didn't go anywhere. But arguably that was because of the flag waiting to consolidate. Next we move on to the cloud, and as you can see, as is always the case with a toppy, not pattern, but just the top of any market, you're going to see this flattening of the Kumo, and that's because that's the 50% fib of the move, okay? Now as we break out, and as the move happens, you're looking for a few things. You're looking for a head and shoulders, which is a clear reversal. You're looking for a flag, which is a clear continuation sign. Or you're looking for inverted Adam and Eve. And you can see there was almost an inverted Adam and Eve here inside of the triangle. So that's why that's always not always the best indicator. Another thing I'm looking at is divs. So let's turn on this here. No div currently, but you can see we're in danger of a div. Should it make a higher high, it's got to bust up much higher on this RSI. So that would be a sell signal should that occur. Stoke, I think this is a bullish indication. Again, I'm bad with Stoke, so don't ask me questions about Stoke. The other thing about this trend, it's definitely bullish. You can see it's been bullish for a while. And this is a great example of you just long every Kumo breakout, knowing what the higher time frame is, and just wait for the move to happen every time. You know, you get stopped out once or twice, but eventually it pays off. So Cloud likes this zone, as did the Wicks, as did this candle here, which I think has a name, but I can't think of it at the moment. And the Cloud is 100% bullish. Bullish Cloud, bullish TK, price above Cloud. Lagging span is above price above Cloud. So it's a clear, everything's bullish picture. Not the best entry signal because everything's already bullish. You usually want to enter a trade when it flips from bullish to bearish, bearish to bullish rather, or vice versa. But the Heikin-Ashi I do like on the 4-hour, so I will end up taking along on just that alone, and I'll list that out in a second. Alright, so we got the bull flag, we got the cloud. Next on the list is the 5200, and you'll notice that, again, like the cloud, there's not much help here because it's already been trending on the 4-hour for a long time. It's nice that it sort of tried to touch the 50 and bounced from there. You can see that, again, I'm just comparing the previous time that happened. It was the beginning of this leg up. So that says to me markets sort of spin sufficiently sideways to the point where it's not insanely overbought, but it's okay to move at this point. So I turn everything off again. I look at B-bands. You can see we're starting to break out of the B-bands. So we're getting a candle close outside of the B-bands. It's got 2 hours left on it, but it's opening above the B-bands. That says that there is a bullish bias again. This is the beginning of a move. It certainly hasn't squeezed tight like it did in here. It consolidated enough to where it created the flag. Anytime you see a flag, you should see a squeeze on the B-bands. Created the flag, squeezed the bands enough that there's sufficient breakout potential at the moment. Something I didn't mention because I'm bad, but I should have, is the volume on this pattern. You can see descending chart volume, which is A++ for reality of the chart pattern. Anytime you see a triangle or a flag, you should always see a descending volume pattern. That says just screams consolidation. And then boom, here's the volume breakout confirmation. I don't always like going long before we can break out cleanly from the top of the pole. So like I said, I'll end up going long just with a not 100% position size on this. There is a pitchfork here. I don't like it. I'm not even going to show it. It's too big for the 4 hour. Like I said earlier, there is a risk for a div should it make a higher high and make a lower high on the RSI. Alright, so we want to go long. What should our targets be? We could have a target of TK close, wherever that is. I don't generally like that. I think it's too slow. Another target option is fractals. When we use them, I will explain them. I'm not going to use them for this trade. I do like the measured move target of this level here between the move and the 1618. I really like that zone. And then lastly, there's pivots up here, yearly pivots. So again, this zone of resistance matches where we expect it to go. At the very least, you should expect it to go above the pole. So we'll watch that. I'll go long. As far as the R&R is concerned, if I open here, it's a 372, which is great. And that's a conservative target based on this. It can certainly bounce around on this pivot as well. As far as the stop's concerned, I just like the previous local low. Again, nothing fancy. If you extend it down a little bit, it kind of, again, you're reducing it by quite a bit, down to 2.2. So I just like, that zone right there, something like that, nothing fancy. All right, so just market bought some Ethereum, which is a disaster. You generally don't want to market buy anything on any market, but if there's any pattern to market buy, it's always waiting till stuff completes. So this looks good to me, and you might be thinking to yourself, how can you be long Bitcoin and Ethereum expecting both to go up? Well, we'll see what happens. All right, so let's move to Dash. You can see Dash is a little more erratic. Clearly there's two drives here, and the question or not becomes whether there will be a third. There usually is a third. If anything, this is kind of an ABCD. It's not perfect, but it's there. So just candles alone, there's clearly a trend that's bullish, and you can see just like Ethereum flag that broke up, there's a flag right here that broke. Let's just turn on bands real quick just to show you. There was a squeeze, then a breakout. Okay, and let's look at volume as well. And volume, descending volume profile, good, and then a breakout. Boom. Okay, so again, look at other coins, look at other time frames, just to get a general idea of what you're looking for. So if I fib out this whole move, you can see we bounced pretty cleanly on the 618, which says the fib is real, it's holding. That's usually bullish continuation. I like that in a trend. Fibonacci hasn't been much help currently. It's certainly getting there. I'd wait 1 or 2 more candles, I think, before wanting to relong this, as the immediate target would just be the local high. There's not a clear flag, not a clear head and shoulders, not a clear Adam and Eve, inverted or otherwise. Again, there was an Adam and Eve here inverted. I see this a lot in triangles. I don't know why. And it doesn't break down, but because it's clearly a flag. So, do we have volume consolidation up here? I don't think we do. No, just kind of have garbly nonsense all over the place. So I think Dash needs some time before it moves again. And if we look at Cloud, you can see how clean of a trend this is. This is one of the great reasons that I love and use the Cloud, okay? Again, long, close your long somewhere using an intelligent stop, okay? And then as the recross happens, you long again. Hold it. There's no clear stop out here. Maybe here, but other than that, it's just smooth sailing. So we're currently sort of at that time again, and we'll look at this tomorrow, obviously, in 6 more candles. But what I'd really like to see is a TK cross recross above the Cloud, just like here. Anytime you get a TK cross above the Cloud, that's the strongest continuation sign of anything in the Cloud. And you can see how convenient that it matches the bull flag of this trend here. And just with Cloud, RSI and Stoke don't really help me out here. There's no divs. Stoke isn't above the 70, 80 zone, whatever this is. So not much help overall. Like I was mentioning with Ethereum, you can see how many touches of the 50 this has had this whole time. And again, that conveniently matches the triangle here. And you can see why on the first leg up, if there's a flag, there's a higher probability that it'll keep going than if there's a flag on the second and third leg up. And as for right now, there might have been like a falling wedge here, which broke up and it bounced in the 50. But overall, not a great entry signal that I'm seeing. You're not going to see a cross-recross anytime soon on this time frame. You do kind of see the EMA disequilibrium where it's moving almost too fast here. So again, this just tells me I expect this to go sideways over continuation at this point. We already looked at B-bands, and again, nothing screaming here. Go long, go short, no breakout. I think it just needs more time. Just what all the other indicators are telling me. And again, there's a pitchfork on here. I'm not going to draw it. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit. There's multiple pitchforks actually, but it just blew through all of the resistance on all of them. Then lastly, if you want to get real fancy and really prognosticate and draw out the 3 drives, go for it. Again, 1, 2, 3, and then you'd expect at least a 50% pullback or more. But I'm not going to long or short that right now. That's just too early. If anything, this is certainly a huge resistance zone for a nice short. If you want to place some asks in here, some early asks. But if it gets that high, that's going to be something. 0.37, is that right? That's just insane. Certainly some people like Crypto Medici on Twitter might be expecting that, but not me. So shout out to Crypto Medici. Alright, so that's day 1. You can see we're already getting sufficiently wrecked in this long, which is awesome. For Bitcoin, I think we're getting wrecked here a little bit. Whatever it is, what it is. We'll check back with it tomorrow. If you like this, thumbs up, dislike, I don't care, whatever you want to do. Comment below, hit me up on Twitter, Telegram, and happy trading.